Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Ansar Gilani, English commentator at the entire sports, instructor at Intercultural Studies, Social Sciences, English Literature, and International Relations. Basically, I am a trendsetter, and the objective of a trendsetter is to revisit the tradition to some extent in a new way, or it is all remodeling of the life in a new way, so that the way the changes are coming to the world, that are to made in an easy way, in an accessible way, to be, you can say, brought forward, and things are made easy so that the changes that come in so fast way to some extent overtake the already existing conventions and traditions. And mainly, you can say, the big section of the society is attached to or ridden with the traditions, and it becomes very difficult how to quit the tradition and be the modern. And on becoming the modern, what things are needed there, what kind of mentality is to be based on, and what kind of new ways are to be leveled for. uh, and there has, you can say, always been a clash between the going generation and the coming generation, because the going generation is largely 40 or 50 plus, and they are with such things which are already practiced and coming from generation to generation. And sometimes some societies are at the state of, you can say, a fridged state, or some frozen state, or somewhat stuck at not inviting and attending the new ideas and new things which are coming to us, to be welcomed in an open way and in, you can say, welcoming face. So it becomes difficult how to make the way out for the present generation to live in an open way and in a welcoming way, and could, you can say, drive forward in a majestical way, and how they are later made aware of what is tradition and what is modernity, and how we are to stay connected both with the tradition, both with the ancient, you can say, life, and as well as the new one and the modern, you can say, cults which are coming on, and the changes which are coming on. As there is, you can say, a big clash between the tradition and the reason. You can say reason mainly belongs to religion, and tradition mainly belongs to a stuck kind of life that is based on the tribal instinct. Tribal instinct is totally tuned to what the practices of the fathers and forefathers and pre-forefathers, and then generations and generations have gone through for the practicing of the same things. But when we talk about the, you can say, how the tradition and reason of the religion, religion also gives some set standards, the concept of right and wrong, and clear cut, you can say, policy. But tradition and the thing that is based on modernity uh, somewhere goes at the clash. Religion and tradition and modernity become three kinds of forces. So modernity challenges both religion and both tradition. Tradition means conventional style life, conventional style of thinking, a slow kind of thinking, and testimonials kind of thinking that everything is to be testified, and then made it justified, and then made it practice on the present generation's projector, and then it is made clear to go on to the next practices or next turns of the life. So when we talk about the clash of tradition and reason, reason depends on religion, and religion, as I have already mentioned, it gives some moral standards that never should be compromised, because when moral fabric is challenged by deviating or creating new ways on the will of instinct and on the will of desire, that is not yet tamed by the present generation and the majority of the people, until it is not made practicable and not made followable and not made largely acceptable, it becomes difficult to throw into the present generation and to the upcoming generations. This is the all that a trendsetter is working on, and I am also working on, and my object of making these kinds of videos is mainly to address the people and to approach them with a trending approach, that how we are to live in this world of opportunities, where clash of interests, clash of opinions, and clash of set you can say mindsets that are already working for development and as a helping tool for economic source to give on. So as I am talking on trend setting and the clash of reason and tradition, I would take a step further here, that what is after all the object of the introducing of tradition and the reason of the modern you can say perspective and the modern generation, how to live in the life. So if you keep visiting, you will visit many of the areas in my projections and giving opinions about and making videos about. So object is to how to take care of the present age and how to take care of the moral standards, how to take care of the religion and its consciousness, because the more we are becoming modern and the fastest movers in the present age, the more you can say the moral standards and principles and rules and regulations and disciplines and even sometimes laws are taken into challenge. So how we are to tame the present people and to make them aware of how to understand the differences of all kinds that are making us, you can say, a bit savage to life, and upsetness is coming to our life that is causing aggression and violent. So that is all due to not having a proper and a sound mind. And a sound mind could only be when we would have a right kind of strategy and a right kind of attachment with either to tradition and either to modernity. Modernity is sometimes just a fashionistic kind of approach. Things come in a floody way and are adopted in the same way, and it it is called as fashion and glamour. But the thing is that we are not to take the things the way the things are coming. We are to wait for what a better approach and what a better practice could come, and what a better strategy we can follow. Each, you can say, step is not to be taken the way the other has taken. Everyone comes from its own background, from its own, you can say, family prints, and the foremost, nearest one, and dearest ones. Prints are present upon the minds, and the personalities are under somewhat affect either the positive or the negative. But we should take care of, and we should guard our interests, cause our foremost practices, and then stake strong on our foremost interests, and already what we are at the practice, we should check out the other things. We should interact with others. We should sit uh, having a head together with them, and just to talk and to interact is not a bad thing until it would not leave injurious and poisonous effect on the philosophy and the ideology of the other peoples, because every soul selects his own society, and everyone has the right to live within the garbage, live within the limits of their psychology and their, you can say, policy, and set standard for them. But interaction is a good thing. Interaction widens our scope, widens our perspectives, and widens our visionary and imaginative light, and makes us to go more to the knowing of the people, knowing of the traditions, knowing of the customs, and knowing of the what it is uh, so present around, and that is mainly leaving impact upon our foremost duties and mentalities and understandings and doings of our lives. So the more we go into the people and into the different segments of the societies and into the different parts of the world, slowly and gradually or fastly, and so fastly, timely practices it could be called, or permanent practices could be called, but it all depends where we are living, and what are its surroundings, and what are its foremost practices, and what are its more foremost result orientations, and what are its most you can say likes and dislikes, and what are its moral standards, and what are its you can say financial needs, and what are its disciplines. A person could live independently, you can say, going above of all the things in question and things in concerned, if having somewhat motto and approach towards life and towards people of high mindedness. Uh, because in the present age, you could be at your own will and at your own desires, at all your dreams and goals, and you could say them out, but it's all how to say and what to say, when to say, and how much to say. These are simple things, but life, you can say, is being run by simple things, not by some hardcore philosophies. Hardcore philosophies are for the high objectives and for high dreams to achieve and high objectives to achieve, and that is long journey. The foremost thing is that you and we should learn the easiest ways of approaching others, accessing others' outlooks, and understanding others' philosophies of life, theologies, and cults. Outlooks is a main thing I would recommend here to be checked out first of all when you are to interact. And in the present age, we can live without having matching of the likes and dislikes to someone, rather being a democratic person should give right to others that they should live in within their garment, others live within their garments of their psychology and their uh, nearest approaches, and interaction should be kept in. So how to live in contact and living and intact with others, and how to interact and get something from others and give something others. This is the very simple idea as we can promote the present age. The present age, though, is filled with all kinds of facilities. The more you can earn, the more you can go up, and the more you can widen up your approaches and widen up your interactions, the more challenges will come and the more opportunities will rise. Nothing will get you into trouble if you are easy and simple at approaching and accessing others, at the making of the talk, at the sharing of your values even, and sharing of your even at the extensive level problems. So no one is there, or everyone is not there to solve all the others' problem or our problems, but everyone has fundamental, you can say, right to listen other and tell others about its foremost likes, and later on, as the parachute of the personality opens, could be shared more things about, and things could be diluted by getting just a moral support of someone's. All help is not the financial help. Mainly the early help that comes, that is moral support, but must have something in it that could to some extent appeal to other, uh, to some extent convince other. It's not, you can say, the begging or requesting other, rather it's a humanitarian planet living at the planet Earth. We are present on different challenges, and challenges are the fashion of life, and this present age, this is the most complex age. Apparently it looks very simple, it looks very fascinating and excruciating, you could say, but to larger extent it is helping inside. The phenomena, or the toughest thing of the present age is people don't trust on others. They doubt, they have somewhat scruple, they have somewhat dialectical approach as the earlier. They look very, you can say, confident and solid, but they look somewhat lacking that insight that should throw into each other and should go for others. that should make others how to get interacted and get know-how of others and how to beat out the needs of each others. So we should come out of our foremost self-centeredness and the idea revolving around the self. Rather, we should a bit come out of us, our narrow belt of our mind and its designs, so that other could meet our requirements, could understand our needs, could go far to understand more and could work on it and could say to others and could set a strategy and could set a plan. And in this way we can break the present distances. First we are to break the physical distances that are present. Later on we can break the mental distances. Later on we can break the differences of opinion and clashes of point of views, because the differences of opinion and differences of different clashing point of views that could turn into conflicts, minor or major conflicts, short term or long term conflicts. If the people are easy to access each other and could trust each other and could make a better approach to share something at the lighter level, things can't go wrong, things can't go extensive at the basing of the clashes. And sometimes a two persons clash turns to be a clash of two groups, and then these two groups extend their arm and start flying for their defensive scheme, and they approach to a bigger group and then they into another bigger group. So in this way groups come into the existence, but the foundation of any group, apart from any vision and religion and ideology, is there. Making of groups is the, in the bottom you could say, is a fear. A person who does not have the capability and capacity to make a dialogue with the other person, make a talk with the other person, make a conversation in a better way, in a killing of the issue that is arising between two persons. And this, you can say, lack of communication, lack of approach to two persons, to each other's minds, creates some apprehensions. These apprehensions turn the two person into two different fears, and these two fears multiplied with plenty of speculations and whims. And while a person cherishes these whims and speculations at the individual level, and a time comes when the heart is about to, you can say, feeling a multiplied pressure, and it is burst into balloon, or it causes into a simple anxiety, later on stress, and later on a person could be put into depression. It is not shared at the right time with the right person, with the right approach, at the, you can say, right time, when things are rising and need to be spotted and need to be, you can say, uh, addressed at the spot so that nothing could go on. So, as I have traveled plenty of years of my life, uh, you can say I saw many of the groups that come across with a person, and there was no issue, and non-issues have been made into issue, and issue has been watered and irrigated, and it has been, you can say, made a seed of any conflict, and that seed has been, you can say, put into a fertile land of jealousy and enviousness and a wrong sense of competition, and the person has been put into, you can say, rivalry, and there was nothing in the bottom, but it has been watered, it has been irrigated, and it started, you can say, flying, and later on it become, you could say, a brainchild of some, you could say it could be a hashed philosophy, or it could be the part of a conspiracy theory, that for nothing issue is made, for nothing conflict is arisen, and the group is made, and later on a person is put into media and put into the group of peoples, and the thing that at the beginning was just a talk between two persons, and nothing was present in the bottom, but it has been supported and assisted by some groups of malicious approaches, and later on it become ivory toweric kind of thing, and if they thought the issue was at the bottom, it was a religious one, they started to make a religious group. If they thought it was a political kind of conflict, a political group and a political party has been made on. And if they thought it was not a political and a religious, it was a somewhat militarian kind of conflict. So militarian kind of approach is based, and if they thought that it was basically a judicial kind of uh, matter, and they make it a legal, you can say, a war. And the thing is that the foolery of all these stuffy kind of trash kind of thinking have no, you can say, root cause. They just went for some egoistic and self-centered approach, and they thought better that if we water this issue and convey it as a message to the other people, it would make our name and glory, and will give us height in life. So they did it, and they kept on moving, and they kept on talking about, and they kept on going on the discussion and on the raising of the different segments of the society's emotions. Like they try to make it a religious one issue, later on it appeared to be nothing. They try to make it a political gambit, later on it appeared to be nothing. And when they try to understand it on the legal grounds, later appear to be nothing. They try to make it educational or social or psychological, And they went through all the frontiers of the discussions and negotiations, but appeared nothing because uh, issue is nothing, non-issue is made issue. Why? Because the the people in the general practices of the life, they need somewhat how to come forward and how to come up and how to be the public figure and how to be the part of conspiracy theory. They get some support from the hidden forces that could be called the forces for uh, the conflicting issues to be made, or megalomaniac or warriors kind of attempts to make. But well, they come to know that where from the issue took start, there was nothing other than a one-way traffic that kept on hatching and kept on, you can say, rising. And there came no time in their life that they would have reached to the right kind of approach or right kind of conclusion. So they fall on the ground because where from the conflict and the idea of political, religio, or social, or psychological, or legal, or religio mean, or you could say nothing came out. It was somewhat very deep-seated in somewhere else complex, and the person has been ignored, and issues have been picked up, and a particular kind of political mindedness and religious mindedness tried to be brought forward, but it appeared that it was merely chivalry kind of acts, or it was just a tribal kind of instinct was operating behind it, and later it might have damaged the very moral fabric of the society and challenge the set standards of trust and accountability that is present in people, that has badly been shattered. So what's the objective uh, of making non-issues issues, and why we go for self-centeredness and merely minor things we try to turn into